Today we're going to talk about Tommy Robinson.
This is a war, and this is your fate. We are the face of your new police state. We are the...
Welcome to the Charles Carroll Society. I'm your self-appointed bard of the American Readout. Last week on Friday, as soon as I heard, I put up a post about Tommy Robinson from the United Kingdom. He is the founder of the English Defense League, and a kind of like myself and other people, he's a somewhat hobbyist journalist. He has been covering a lot of things in the UK. He's a UK citizen. Tommy Robinson, by the way, is not his real name, but that's the name that he goes by. He has a YouTube channel here, and he was swept off the street by progressive judges in the UK, and in less than 4 hours sentenced to 13 months, or applied a sentence of 13 months that had been suspended previously, and placed by the progressive judges into a jail with hardened Muslim gang criminals who the progressive judge knows have sworn to kill Tommy Robinson if he ever ends up in prison. Thus, the progressive judges of the United Kingdom can keep their hands clean while they murder a Christian and I believe Catholic man who has spoken up about Islamic mass immigration. I find this issue to be of most importance to patriots on this side of the Atlantic in the United States and to others all around the world. This type of behavior is happening all around the world. Tommy Robinson, first let's get some things out of the way that you may have heard in the mainstream media. The UK, in a strange, very strange thing, swept this man up, reapplied a sentence that had been suspended, stuck him in jail, put him somewhere where they're almost guaranteed that he's going to be killed for two reasons. They want to make sure that he gets murdered, and they want to make sure that every single Christian male all across Europe knows that if you speak out against the progressive authorities in the United Kingdom, or if you speak out against militant Islam and what it's doing to the West, then this can happen to you. This is a fear tactic implemented by a tyrannical, out-of-control government. This type of behavior is why the colonies, as the UK, are no longer part of the United Kingdom. Americans demanded their rights. They did what is required to have their rights now. Today is Memorial Day, where we celebrate, after the Civil War, this holiday was implemented, but we celebrate all of the men, primarily men, who have died to keep this nation free from other control, have died to defeat fascism, which is National Socialism, has died to defeat international socialism, has died. We, or more properly, our ancestors paid the price, the blood price required to keep us free. And one of the things that annoyed everyone is the behavior you're seeing right now with Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson started the English Defense League. I believe he also started a group called like Footballers Against Fascism or something. Basically, he was trying to, and he has successfully organized a lot of football fans and other people. And his one thing was militant Islam. Many people try to say that he's a Nazi. Tommy Robinson is not a Nazi. So many people try to say that Tommy Robinson is a racist. Tommy Robinson is not a racist. Matter of fact, as a Catholic, he got into significant trouble on the right because he allowed homosexuals and transvestites to join the English Defense League, because there are some, not many, some people who are LGBTQ homosexuals who see a serious problem with militant Islam and their interpretation of homosexuality, which in most parts of the world can get you killed. So a lot of people, some people on the religious right were upset that Tommy, he said, I don't care. My one issue is that Islam, the political system, is not integrating into my nation. So they then create a new word called Islamophobic, Islamophobia. Phobia is an irrational fear of. Well, when many people who blow themselves up in what the British seem to call the tubes, which we I think call subways, you no longer have an irrational fear. Let me tell you something. For over 30 years, veterans such as myself have been fighting primarily Muslims overseas. Kosovo, fighting Muslims. Somalia, fighting Muslim. Iraq War I, Desert Storm I, fighting Muslims. Afghanistan, fighting Muslims. Iraq War II, fighting Muslims. War against the Islamic State, fighting Muslims. Chasing down Christian girls who were snatched out of their school, fighting Muslims. That's 30 years. So no one has an irrational fear of anything. We have a concern. And something that I don't hear people talking about is, people sometimes say Islam is not a religion. It is, in my opinion. You and I can get together and worship a rock. Islam is a religion, but Islam is also a civil political system. All of the Abrahamic faiths, some people say that Islam is not an Abrahamic faith. That's for another day. But most people understand that all the faiths descend from Abraham, which they mean Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Islam lies and denies that its actual basis is in Judaism. Judaism started all of this. Christianity acknowledges the Old Testament is essentially very close to the Torah. Because we all descend from Judaism, Judaism had the law of Moses. There are civil laws. As a Catholic, for example, we don't eat meat on Friday. It's a civil law. That's a law that that's a civil law. We have a whole bunch more steps to go through if we are going to get to divorce. It's essentially impossible to get quote unquote divorced as a Catholic. You have to get your marriage annulled, which it never existed. But these things Protestants don't have to go through. Every single of the monotheistic faith have both religious law, you know, we go to mass on here and we pray like this and we say this and this, and they also have civil law since they were based upon the old Jewish Torah law. Each of them implemented their law separately, but only Islam, and this is, I don't see anyone telling you this, only Islam has laws for non-Muslims that they try to enforce, like blasphemy. One of the things that got Lauren Southern kicked out of the UK was that Vice, I can't remember, I think it was Vice, put up an article that said Jesus Christ is gay. Jesus Christ is a topper and a bottomer. That's what it said. What? Christians were like unbelievable, but you see, generally Christians in the West don't riot. Absolute horrid blasphemy. And they thought it was funny. Lauren Southern went to the UK and said the same thing about Allah, the Muslim God. She said effectively, Allah is a God for all of us. Allah is a God for gay people. Allah is a God for transsexuals. Allah is a God for this. Allah is a God for all of us. Not only did the Muslims nearly riot, the police came and snatched this woman off the street, snatched her out of the street, took all of her stuff, and now they have banned the woman, Lauren Southern, from the UK, I essentially think forever, under terrorism charges. You can say this about Christianity and Jesus Christ, but you can't say the same thing about Allah and the Muslim God. No one from Vice is being banned from the UK. Their publication is not being banned. Tommy Robinson did a huge report on primarily Muslims, something like 98% of the people who have been raping 8 to 16-year-old girls, primarily Christian girls, primarily British Christian girls in the UK are Muslims. Muslims. That's the truth.
So I'm at Leeds Crown Court, where these men here, let me see. Right, lads, how you feeling? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict? What verdict? How you feeling about the verdict? You got your prison bag with you? Yeah, look at you. Got your bags with you? You got your bags with you? Yeah. How you feeling about the verdict?
Go and suck your mum's fanny.
Yeah,
You little muppet.
you got no guilt. Is there any guilt? Is there any guilt, mate? Is there any guilt?
Fucking dad. You son of a bitch.
So, as you can see there, doesn't seem like much guilt. Doesn't seem like anyone's ashamed. I'm outside Leeds Crown Court, where today
he started reporting on this. He started trying to get awareness so people to understand their people have been burying these cases, have not been taking, it's been taking 10 to 15 years for anyone to even investigate all of hundreds, I think thousands of girls snatched off the street in various forms and put into rape gangs, primarily by Muslim men. And they then gave him a suspended sentence for covering what the mainline papers over there would not. And so when he went to cover, they're having another trial in the UK. And when he went to cover that trial, I believe on Friday, they snatched him off the street like it was Gestapo. He was covering Muslim men, live streaming Muslim men who are going into trial for raping children. They took 20 years or 15 years to find these Muslim rapists, but they snatched him off the street within minutes and within hours sentenced him to 13 months in a prison locked in with people that they know have sworn to kill Tommy Robinson. Also, another interesting thing that I wanted to share with you. This type of thing is happening in other places. In South Africa, the South African farmers are being attacked on their farms disproportionately. And the crimes are just, you know, it's not like you come up and steal somebody's food because you're hungry or you steal their money. I mean, these are breaking into people's houses, raping their children and setting, it's just beyond reason. The South African farmers had a protest. They didn't scream, they didn't throw anything, they just petitioned their government and said for change. They brought their grievances to the South African government and said, terrible things are happening to us, why won't you help us? Not only did the South African government not help them, the South African government said, a government minister said to these farmers who were peacefully protesting, don't you ever speak about what's happening to you again, and if you do, we will kill you all. Now in the UK, the progressives there have told Tony Robinson, don't you ever talk about Muslims raping Christian women, but that's happening. We don't care. Don't speak about it. And when he reported again, they said, we will kill you. We will put you somewhere. Hey, I don't know what happened. See, I just put him in jail like everything. I followed the rules. There's a problem with the right. Our effectuation, our submittal to ungodly rules. The judge is like, hey, I followed all the laws. The law does not, just because it's the law does not make it correct. And just when you break the law does not make you a sinner. Laws are made by men. These are men-made laws, not God's laws. Now, as in before, the British people are going to have to make a decision. Are they going to live like this? And the minority of people over there who see this as a problem are going to have to do whatever they need to do. We in America, we should learn from this. Currently, the progressives in America are attacking the Second Amendment. That seems the thing they love. But even if they won on the Second Amendment tomorrow, do you think that's going to stop them attacking the Bill of Rights, attacking your inalienable rights? The very next thing that's going to go is freedom of speech, just like it went in just like it's going in Europe, just like it's going in South Africa, just like it's going in the rest of the Western world. They will not stop until their beliefs are the only beliefs allowed to be talked and spoken about. Most of the major media have blocked all information about Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is not a racist. The EDL, the football leagues that he started, welcome people of all races, most religions, and even Muslims who had a problem with radical Islam. He was like, I don't care, everybody's here. He has said that multiple times. Everywhere he goes, he tries to show, I'm not a racist. Islam is not a race. Islam is a religion and a political system, and you can have problems with a political system. You can have problems with a religious system too. I don't like your religion. I don't believe Islam is correct. I don't believe your so-called prophet is a prophet. I don't believe that. If I did, I would be Muslim. I don't believe it's a prophet, and I don't have any more respect for your so-called holy book than any other book, because I don't believe it's divine. That's a problem with religion. You can have a problem with religion, and you can have a problem with the political system. Like in America, Islam is not integrating into the West. It does not want to become part of the West. It wants to dominate the West. Always remember, people, Islam does not mean peace. That's a lie. Islam means submission. When you submit to political Islam, you will have peace. That's what it means. All of the major papers have obeyed the British government and has squashed this. Google is squashing this. YouTube is squashing this. Facebook is blocking all of this. So share this. I will upload this to Wire and Gap. Please follow me on my blog. That's where you can find it. Because when Facebook or YouTube decides to remove this from your subscription list, it's gone. I've also noticed that you guys are not watching some of my newer videos, and I believe it's because you guys haven't clicked that stupid little bell next to the subscription link. So please click that bell so that you can be alerted to this. But most importantly, please subscribe to my own blog at charlescarrollsociety.com, because that way you'll see the new videos as they come out. Please get the word about Tommy Robinson. Please don't let this man be murdered at night. Please get the message out about Tommy. Please share this video, and please subscribe over to Charles Carroll. And also follow me on minds.com because I plan on putting up content in Minds that I'm not going to put on YouTube. YouTube's never going to provide money for some of the videos I make anyway. So why even put the video on YouTube? That's why you can follow me on Minds. You can subscribe to me there, and we can actually have different levels of conversation out there. So, and please get the word about Tommy. Tommy's not a racist. He's not a Nazi, but he is a man who has a problem with militant political Islam, and so do many of us. Viva Cristo Rey, Viva Cristo Rey, Viva Cristo Rey y the Virgin Guadalupe.
Strange, but